Postwar Reconstruction, the 10% Plan. On this day in history, December 8, 1863, President Abraham Lincoln offered his conciliatory plan for the reunification of the United States after the Civil War with his proclamation of amnesty and Reconstruction. After nearly 3 years of heated conflict between the Union and the Confederacy, it was clear that Lincoln needed to begin preliminary plans for post-war Reconstruction. The North had captured large sections of the South, and some states were ready to be rebuilt and rejoin the Union. The proclamation addressed three main areas. First, it granted a full pardon to all who engaged in the rebellion, except the highest Confederate officials and military leaders. Second, it allowed for new state governments to form when 10% of the eligible voter base had taken an oath of allegiance to the U.S. And third, the southern states that were admitted through the previous step were encouraged to enact plans to deal with formerly enslaved people as long as their freedom was not compromised. For most Southerners, the terms of the 10% Plan were easy to accept. Some Confederate members thought the emancipation of slaves was unacceptable, but considering the costliness of the war, Lincoln's plan was charitable. However, the fight for the Proclamation wouldn't be fought with the majority of the Southern population, it would be fought in Congress. Some radical Republicans thought the plan was far too easy on the South, and others were okay with it because it was President Lincoln asking. As the name suggests, this was a plan for post-war, which at the time of December 1863 wasn't on the horizon. In 1864, Congress passed the Wade-Davis Bill, which made re-entry into the United States more difficult for the southern states, but President Lincoln pocket vetoed it. The following year, in 1865, came the conclusion of the Civil War and President Lincoln's assassination. Then, the post-war Reconstruction policy became an intense battle between Congress and the new president, Andrew Johnson. Eventually, 3 amendments were added to the Constitution, the radical Republicans enacted the Reconstruction Acts, the 18th President Ulysses S. Grant faced violent domestic terror groups, yet the country ultimately reunited, regardless of the desires of many former Confederate citizens. If you've learned something, consider dropping a like and subscribing to my channel. Your support would mean the world to me.